The day is January 29th. Welcome to another episode of SJHL Weekly. I am here once again, Clark Munroe, filling in for the wonderful, the studious, the energetic Jeremy Corrigan as he is on his way to Winnipeg, Manitoba for the, we'll talk about this a lot today, but the SJHL MJHL Showcase, of course. I'm going to fill in. We're going to have a great show today. We got a lot to get to. Including, like I said, a lot of previews of the SJHL MJHL Showcase, which we all love to watch every single year. We're also going to be joined by Estevan Bruins goaltender Cam Hrdlicka. He just announced a commitment to an NCAA Division III program, so we'll talk to him about that. Plus, we got Players of the Week coming up later in the show. We're going to dive into the latest, like I said, from the showcase, but also get into some really fun buy it or sell it topics, which is always a good segment here on the show. But we're going to focus it in on the showcase as well as some other SJHL topics as well, and dive into the latest action, I should say, from across the league. But before we do that, we got to thank our sponsors. And of course, we'll start with UPL, because UPL, as you can see in our beautiful arena that we sit in today, are a major sponsor of all of the programming that we do here for the SJHL, as well as Borgo, Canterra Seeds, Capital Auto Mall, Chevrolet, Great Western, Nutrien, RBC, Saskatchewan Construction Safety Association, Sask Lotteries, Tourism Saskatchewan, UPL again, thank you, Sask Energy, SGEU, and SGI. Thank you to all of our sponsors. We are now joined in the studio by, again, we're all matching today. It's the three best friends that anyone could have, Rory McGouran and Jamie Neugebauer. Guys, welcome to the show. Thanks for having me again as your host today. How are your weekends, Rory? Let's start with you.
Yeah, great. All of our agents color-coded us today.
Yep.
And speaking of mine, I want to give out a happy birthday shout out to my rock star girlfriend back at home, Megan. Happy birthday. Our weekend was great. It was a Humboldt Bronco 3-game and 3-night trip.
Busy.
And yeah, speaking of busy, now 60 players, well-deserving off to the showcase. And can't wait to watch that down in Manitoba. It's a great time.
Yeah, if anybody's tuning in on their way to Winnipeg or before they head to Winnipeg, hello, travel safely. And I think my shirt is slightly darker blue, maybe.
Oh. It's the lighting.
It looks like, maybe, well, I guess it's the lighting. Mark McGark is the television experience of the three of us. So it's the lighting, but it looks like I'm slightly different, and I like that.
Well, yeah, and you know what, Nugsy, you are slightly different.
True.
So you know what, with that now,
a special one. That's what my wife says.
Yes, exactly. Now let's get into the weekend that was. We're going to start back actually on Thursday from the past week, because there weren't as many games as we're used to. So let's look at Thursday's scores here. As you can see, the Humboldt Broncos took a road game, there we go, against the Weyburn Red Wings on the backs of Cage New and Spencer Bell and Patrick Lanthier, as well as a couple goals from Aiden Hutchinson powered Melfort past Notre Dame 3-1. Now on to Friday. As we look into Friday, we got Estevan taking one from Humboldt, and we'll get to that in a little bit, off of a good performance from Keegan Little, a couple goals from him. We'll get to him again later in the show as well. La Ronge took a 3-2 win over Nipawin with a couple goals from Zane Normand. And Flin Flon snuck past Battleford's in a great game, maybe Game of the Year candidate over the Battleford's North Stars. They had a goal from Adam McNutt that won that one in overtime. On to Saturday. We had a few games here. Melville taking the 5-4 win over Weyburn. Great game from Colby Ball, a couple goals from him. Flin Flon took the rematch 4-2 over Battleford's. Again, couple goals from Carter Anderson, another big night from the Flin Flon Bombers, and Estevan took that third game, I guess, from Humboldt of the weekend, but second game against Humboldt, 6-3. Alexander Papasparopoulos got a couple of goals in that one. Thank you. I just wanted to say his name. But that was a little bit of a quieter weekend, guys, in terms of quantity on the ice, but in terms of quality, it was a great weekend. So I'm going to start it with, we got to talk about the number 1 versus the number 2 battle of the Titans, Flin Flon versus Battleford's. Flin Flon snuck out both wins, but Battleford's got 1 point out of the 2 games. Nugsy, let's start with you. I mean, let's just dive into it. 2 big games with a lot on the line, because we all know Battleford's had been very hot going into this weekend. They were trying to catch Flin Flon going into this weekend.
Yeah.
Flin Flon got a little bit of separation in that 1 and 2 battle. So what can you tell me from that?
Yeah, Battleford's 16 games unbeaten right before they came against the Flin Flon Bombers, who are, maybe the best roster in junior A hockey in Canada. I think there's certainly an argument to be made as we continue on that theme throughout the season. Rory and I were talking about it before the show started, fellas. good old-fashioned 5-on-5 hockey. Not that many power plays. Only one power play goal scored. I love it when they just let them play, let the tiki-taka little stuff go here and there. And I think it was well refereed in that first game. Battleford's actually outchanced Flin Flon. You don't see that too often. 16-12 in terms of scoring chances for Battleford's. Ben Portner continues his long game streak in terms of points. He's got 20 points in his last 7 games. Ben Portner does. He finally only scored 1 goal in a game, fellas. He had 6 in a row where he had 2 games.
What a slide he's on,
I know,
eh?
he should probably rethink himself. But I got a pretty good Ben Portner story. We can tell it later if you want.
Please.
For maybe in Nugs and Notes, I'll tell the little Ben Portner story. But Rory, somebody had to beat Battlefords, and it's probably Flin Flon, because you know what? Not too many people were beating Battlefords, and the Flin Flon Bombers, they are a wagon.
Yeah, I'd concur with you about they are the deepest, most talented roster, I think, in all of junior A hockey right now across the country. It's the most talented roster I've seen in the SJHL. But for the Battlefords North Stars, they know they're right there. This was as advertised. Everyone had this game. Yeah. Took 40 games into the season for a rematch of the SJHL finals finally to take place. And lo and behold, after 40 games, these two teams are 1-2, right back again in the SJHL standings. In terms of a boxing match, it was 2 of the best heavyweights going head-to-head, blow for blow, trying to knock each other out. There wasn't a 2-goal separation, Nugsy, until the 116-minute mark in 120 minutes of hockey. Add in a couple minutes of that overtime in Game 1. It was tied or a 1-goal game for 116 minutes of hockey. This was awesome. You mentioned it. I love the refs. Shout out to them. They let these guys play. A combined 15 power plays combined between the 2 teams and the 2 games. Flin Flon was 1 for 7, Battlefords was 0 for 8. That's how you want to see these type of games. Tight arena, fast, 5-on-5 being played. So shout out to the refs for allowing that. Shots were 84-73 for Flin Flon combined between the 2 games. There wasn't much separation in that. This was a heavyweight boxing match, and it was as advertised. Everyone that showed up to the rinks in the Battlefords, as they were in 2 different rinks, of course, Friday and Saturday, they got a treat. And I don't think anybody would be surprised if this is, again, the finals, because this was a showdown before the showcase.
And I just want to say, obviously we talk about the fire. Yeah, Rory with the professionalism for sure. One thing I want to say, too, the Flin Flon Bombers, we talk about how much firepower they have. They can score at will, it feels like at times. And because they have the puck so much, that metric will turn into not as many times shorthanded as anybody else, and they've only been shorthanded 160 times. That is by far the fewest times in the league. Only Kindersley anywhere near that with 175, so 15 times less shorthanded, the Flin Flon Bombers. So that means you're a little bit more susceptible to having a worse penalty kill, but yet they are 90% on the penalty kill.
Oh, that's good.
So that's very good, and they just shut down Kean Bell and Ben Portner. It looked like that combination, if Battlefords was going to find a way to win in these games, they did a good job on special teams, only giving up 1 power play goal against Flin Flon in 2 games. Very good. You were going to need to score as well on the power play against the Flin Flon Bombers. Hard to do. 90%.
Yeah.
They keep the puck. Justin Lee's just motors around the ice, and nobody can touch him when they're shorthanded. And hey, what Harmon Laser Hume? Everybody's chirping him all the time. Oh, you play behind a great team. Blah blah blah. He made a bunch of great saves over this series. So I think Mike Reagan's very happy. I reached out to both Mike Reagan and Braden Klamosko about the series, the head coaches of the 2 teams. And Braden Klamosko is the one who was kind of on topic. He said to me, we're not good enough yet. And that's the standard of the Battlefords North Stars. You said it. Only 1 time was it a 2-goal lead. And most people would be like, oh, taking Flin Flon like that, giving them a good go. Everybody would kind of be happy about that right now. Not Braden Klamosko. His standard is high, right? Coming off of last year and whatever. So kudos to them. Mike Reagan fired a joke back at me, but that's fine. He just said it's a little bit. I'm getting a little bit old. It's harder to recover from getting back to Flin Flon at 7 a.m, which is apparently what they did that day. But
that's hard for anybody.
He got 2 wins. What is he going to say against a good team? Obviously, Battlefords. Mike Reagan knows that the Battlefords North Stars are a good team too. So, hey, 2 best teams in the SJ, they went at it, and they proved it.
Jamie, I was going to say, are you sponsored by the company Segway? Because that was a perfect segue after you talked about Harmon Laser Hume.
I should have shot.
The highlight of the week from these games, you just saw it a minute ago in the highlight pack, but Harmon Laser-Hume stole the show in Battlefords.
Brad Blake towards the front for Bell. Olsen follows up with a play. Blake on the back post. What a save! What a save! Can you believe it? Even cue the highlight reel.
Thank you for saying cue the highlight reel, Marty. Yes, Marty, once again, making the call for the highlight of the week, as we see often. Yeah, that was a great save by Harmon Laser-Hume, of course. And one thing, just to kind of wrap up the Flin Flon talk, is one thing I always look at on SJHL Insider Thursdays on SJHL social media platforms.
Good plug.
Thank you. Is not only are they the hottest team now in the league after Battleford's loss, but 75 goals against, you guys. That's it in 38 games played. 75. That is less than 2 a game if you do the math.
Yeah.
Very, very impressive. And like you said earlier, guys, the least penalized team in the league. 815 penalty minutes. Next closest is Melville at 870. Oh, no, sorry, Notre Dame. Very well done, Notre Dame. 819. I missed them, but again, the least penalized team. They give up the least amount of goals. That's usually a good combination for success. Let's move on now to the next topic here, which is Humboldt. They had a very busy stretch of 3 games, or 3 days, including 3 games against Weyburn and then Estevan twice. Let's start with Humboldt and Estevan. Rory, a couple of losses. Estevan moves up in the standings a little bit, and we'll talk about them in a sec. But let's start with Humboldt. Talk about these last 3 games for them.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about Nugsie's segue. You had a good one too with with Flin Flon being really good at staying out of the box. The Humboldt Broncos have not been.
Yes.
They need to figure out a way to be more disciplined, whether they agree with the calls or not. It's got to be addressed now. 12 straight games with less power play opportunities than their opponent. That is never going to be a recipe for success. Over that stretch, they have 44 power plays, 80 times shorthanded, almost minus 36 in that department. The last 4 games, their power play, when they do get them, is 0 for 19. And the last 5 games, they've allowed 13 power play goals against on 48 times shorthanded, 72.9%. So they got to work on staying out of the box. And whether that is, you know, a little bit harder in the corners, trying to generate more draws against the other teams, or just being more disciplined all around, it's been the Achilles heel over the last, I'd say, 10 games. And yeah, they've lost 5 of their last 6. But when you look at the team over the course of the month, they're 500 in January. So if this is a low point of a team that many expect are among the best in the league, I think if you're going through it, you could still find a way to be 500 in the month of January and then turn it back on. That's still a top team, right? But I mean, you gotta stay out of the box. 276 minor penalties now. It's more than Weyburn. It's the most in the SJHL in terms of minor penalties for the Humboldt Broncos. They looked really, really good on Thursday against Weyburn. Defensively, structured, breakouts, fast, transitional hockey. It was great, but still they took 7 minor penalties, were shorthanded a lot. And then, you know, against Estevan, when we move into them, this is a team that no one wants to go up against in the playoffs. No. It's a team that has looked absolutely dominant over the last stretch at home. 86 shots against for the Estevan Bruins at home over their last 4 games. That's an average of 21.5 shots against per game. Yeah. Wonderful. 20 shots against per game over that stretch in the 3rd period. They're holding teams to 5 shots in 3rd periods over the last handful of games. And then over the last 6 games, 9 goals against. 1.5 average goals against per game at home. They have figured out a recipe at Affinity Place. Yeah. They looked really good in the 2nd and 3rd periods in both games against the Broncos. Broncos are the better team in the 1st, but Estevan figured out a way to kind of muck it up, get back in the game, score 4 straight goals in both games. They're not who we expected them to be quite yet, but they're getting closer.
Well, the Estevan Bruins, to further your stats about the Estevan Bruins at Affinity Place, 5 games in a row where they gave up 1 or 0 goals in Affinity Place. And they've won 5 of good, yes. 5 of 7 wins at Affinity Place in January as well. They've won a bunch in a row at Affinity Place, 3 in a row. You know what? They know how to play at home. They got to carry that over on the road. But I talked about it a lot. I talked about it around the trade deadline, and I talked about it before the season even started. I said, this Estevan team is going to be very, very good. Do they have the pure offense? Well, they bring in Alex Papasparopoulos from the Null. He's over a point per game. You know, they're getting that contribution from Chmielewski and from Little that they need. You know, Rain Hodge is a pure offensive guy too. They're putting guys in their proper spots. I talked to Jason Tatarnik. He said the key about building a roster is having guys sit in the right seat on the bus. And what he means by that is guys need to fit into their roles, their space in the lineup, their minutes in a game. They just need to fit together that way. That's how you win sustainably. And I think the Estevan Bruins have put together a roster when they're healthy, when they're in the lineup, especially up front, that has guys in their right seats and they're getting timely offense. Maybe that game in Wilcox this past week against the Hounds notwithstanding, and they didn't play poorly in that one either. Could have gone either way. And I think they're getting the big save, especially at home. You talked about it. They're really, really, really tough at Affinity Place. They got some weapons now. They're going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Just with the SJHL Showcase coming along, right? We love the Showcase for it to show to the world, show to everyone else what the SJHL has, right? Of course, there is former Dub players there now looking for youth sports. There's already committed players there that are going to showcase theirs. But for the players that don't have a commitment, right? That's what we love to see. Bring your game here at the Showcase. There's a lot of eyes on you. What can you say about Spencer Bell this year, guys? Like 29 goals, 29 assists. I would argue he's been the best Bronco in 90% of their games. When you talk about development, this 20-year-old is uncommitted right now, and he is an NCAA Division I player in my eyes. Power play, penalty kill, power forward. His skating has come to being one of the best in the league now. His shot is one of the best in the league. I think Spencer Bell is the one to watch right now at the SJHL Showcase. He has been so good.
I love it. And, Spencer Bell, every weekend when we talk about players of the week, because he's from Saskatchewan, he always gets in that conversation. It seems like almost every week it's like, should we give it to Spencer Bell again? Yes, he's won it several times. He's won Forward of the Week. He's won MVP of the Week. This guy is on fire. Back to Estevan really quick. One guy that always gets overlooked, I find, just because he's played fewer games, Zach Burfoot is having a great season for Estevan. 25 points in 21 games. He's actually second on the team in points per game. So having a great season over there for Zach Burfoot. So just wanted to throw a quick shout out to him. But what about Weyburn, guys? Now we're going back to Thursday. Rory again to Humble playing against Weyburn on Thursday. They also played Melville on Saturday. What's going on with Weyburn?
Well, like the Broncos, the penalties are an issue with Weyburn, right? They took 9 minor penalties against the Melville Millionaires. They were outshot 52-20. I have to think that is a result of a lot of time in the penalty box. They need to clean that up. They're right behind the Broncos in terms of minor penalties taken, and they're ahead of the Broncos by 4 in terms of time shorthanded. So those guys need to find a way to stay out of the box. For the Weyburn Red Wings, they're 3-6-1 in the month of January and have not done enough to take a breath in terms of this playoff race. They've lost 3 in a row, however, all 1-goal games. So yes, they are there, but they just can't seem to get over that hurdle. And I feel that penalty troubles are probably the reason why that record isn't 6-3-1 in January. And then now they have a little bit of breathing room over the 8th spot. They tied the game 4-4 with 52 seconds left and couldn't get it to overtime. Melville scored with 20 seconds left and win that 5-4. But too many shots against Nugsy. I know you're going to bring that up. Too many power plays given up. That's a huge concern for Weyburn right now. They got to lock it up disciplined. They got to lock it up defensively. And then I think that's a team that will be in 7th or 8th at the end of the year. Yeah, just a quick note before you go, Nugsy. They are leading the league in penalty minutes by over 150 penalty minutes. Yeah. So it is definitely a concern when you look at just the numbers. Yeah, it's been interesting. The Weyburn Red Wings under Cody Mapes since he's come in, he's wanted them to play a very aggressive, very on the line kind of brand of hockey that kind of gets under the team's skin and gets right in your face. And I think, they're trying to find that line between staying out of the penalty box and being that in your face physical team. It does not help when Nick Kovacs isn't in the lineup for them. He plays big minutes. He plays heavy minutes. To me, he should have been a showcase kid. I'm a huge Nick Kovacs fan. Him and Tyler Teasdale have been great together. They need to find somebody to step up underneath him on that blue line. Cody Mapes has added a lot to the forwards this year. Obviously Ruthven and Mickeljohn and Hodgson lately. And Hodgson looks good.
Kind of goes on the list there. He gave up a lot to Melville to bring Matthew Hodgson in. And we can talk about Melville in a second, actually. But this Weyburn Red Wings team, again, they're having a hard time staying healthy, too. They only had 10 forwards in the lineup. But without Nick Kovacs, it's a big, big hole. And the depth on the blue line has been a bit of a problem lately for Weyburn, too.
Do we have the standings? Look, can we
do, yeah. Let's
can we bring that up right now after Weyburn?
For sure. Just quickly, you mentioned Matthew Hodgson, 4 goals in his first 5 games
good,
as a Red Wing. So he has been performing good. Guys, if you want to bring up the standings here for us, they should be in there. I hope so. But as you can see, there's not as many ties as there was last time we did this.
No.
It's definitely separated slightly here and there. But what did you want to talk about, Rory?
Well, just where Weyburn is right now, right? With the January, with 3 games losing in a row, 3-6-1, only picking up points in 4 out of 10 games there in January. At one point, we were thinking that this team coming out of the Christmas break, who's going to be playing a lot of the teams around them in the playoff race, they haven't been able to capitalize on that. And now you see Estevan's capitalized on it, Melville's capitalized on it, and 4-point separation with less games in hand than Melville and the same, or just about the same as Estevan. Those 2 teams are now looking like Weyburn. You can't pay attention to them anymore. It's now Nipawin and Kindersley. You're running out of teams that you can leapfrog to get back in. Where I think after the Christmas break, you were like, well, there's 6 of them right now that one of them falters, we can take their spot. Well, now there might be 2 of them. Yeah. Well, just based off how Melville and Estevan's playing.
How about out of the showcase break, 2 at the West Central Event Center, Weyburn and Kindersley, back to back. Look at that.
Save it for the end of the show,
Oh, my gosh. I'm just too excited. I'm too excited because February is difficult for Weyburn, even though they're at home a lot.
Yeah.
They got a bunch of Melforts. They got Flin Flon. It's not easy. Rejuvenated Yorkton, etc.
Now, let's leave the standings up just for a second here, guys. Indulge me for a sec, because I love this topic.
Yeah.
As of today, as we look at these standings, the playoff matchups, if the season ended today, Flin Flon versus Kindersley, Battlefords versus Nipawin, Melfort versus Estevan, and Humboldt versus Melville. I feel like those are all such good matchups, and they have a lot of potential for some really interesting series. Obviously, even Kindersley going up against a Flin Flon. I feel like Kindersley has shown us enough this year that you're just not sure. I mean, Flin Flon is so deep and so strong. Yeah. But I think that Kindersley could make it at least interesting. Nipawin and Battlefords, I feel like that would be a fun series. Estevan Melfort, I feel like with the way Estevan's been playing lately, and as they continue to go, that could be an interesting one.
7-game series. That's a toss-up. That's a 7-game series for me. Yeah.
You look at Melfort's season so far with injuries. Who knows? It could. I hope they're healthy going into the playoffs, because they do have a lot of strength as well. And then Humboldt, Melville, Rory, I mean, we don't have to dive into this series breakdown right now because it's very early, but I feel like Melville could put up a good fight against the Humboldt.
They absolutely can, because they put up a great fight and actually won the fight against all the top 4 teams in the SJHL right now. The wild thing about this is, and it's bound to change, there isn't one divisional matchup. Right. Any of them, they're all out of division matchups, which is really cool. We're going to move into the Melville Millionaires, but you look at those game in hands right now. We thought the separation was vast. If Melville wins all 4 games, they're only 6 points back from a home ice advantage spot. And also, you mentioned Weyburn and Kindersley out of the showcase. It's Humboldt Melville coming up on Friday and Saturday as well, coming right out of the showcase. So those are some huge games. Speaking of Melville, you had some stats on the Mills as well.
Yeah, let's get into the Melville Millionaires.
Yeah, I mean, statistically speaking, the Melville Millionaires, to me, do not make sense. I mean, okay, they're 9-11 when they trail after 2, which is an amazing amount of wins. To be 9-11 when you trail after 2, they do not give up. Is it a fitness thing? Doug Johnson works his team very hard. Certainly, I'm sure they're in good shape as a result. Their special teams are 10th and 11th in the league. They don't score a ton of goals, though they've added a few pieces. Obviously, Bradley Bannock is the big one for me.
Yeah, third least goals in the league. Third least amount of goals.
They don't score. They have 0 players in the top 35 in league scoring. But they find a way to win games. I don't know. They're scrappy. They're tough to beat. And as Rory, you've talked about it a lot. They just kind of hang around.
They hang around.
Yeah, I mean, kudos to them. Getting Peyton Kostishin back, who was last week's Sask Finest, by the way, article on the SJHL website, little plug. Getting him back is huge. He plays a lot of minutes on the back end for Melville. It really solidifies their back end up. But yeah, I don't know. How is Melville doing it? Somebody explain it to me.
Well, they have a winning record, and they have a -4 goal difference.
They put 87 shots towards Daza Mitchell in this game, and 52 of them hit the target. It's impressive. They got some really good young players. Doug always talks about how his kids are way underrated in our league and by pundits like you and me. And fair enough. I mean, we all love Luke Beadall. We all love, Cole Keane, et cetera, et cetera. We go down the list. But, how much should we love them? I guess we'll find out in the next little bit because it's getting to crunch time. But they've added some older guys, and we'll see how they do it. It's been interesting.
Hanging around is the perfect analogy for them.
Yeah.
But also, we talk about how their system slows down other oppositions, right?
Yeah.
But I think people overlook how fast Melville actually is. They drag you into the depths, into this system that just seems mucky and slow, but Melville then counters it with their speed, which it throws people off. And kudos to them for executing it very well, because you mentioned it, they don't have a plus goal differential in any period.
No period.
But all of a sudden, they win the end of the game. It's just...
So they're minus in 2 of the 3 periods.
Yeah. It's wild, but it's trap you in and then explode with that speed. And it is crazy that after 60 minutes, the team that's going up against them, they're kind of looking like, what happened?
They're almost 500 after 40 minutes.
What happened?
I've never seen, I don't think I've ever seen that. Most of the teams in the league have 1, 2, maybe 3 wins. When you're losing after 40, it's so hard to
They're almost 500.
They're almost 500.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
And one thing we've talked a lot about discipline. They are the 3rd least penalized team in the league, so they are staying out of the box. We talked about how important that is. Junior hockey, it's so important. That's such stay out of the box. It's so important. Let's move on, guys, if you don't mind. Nipawin and La Ronge. A couple teams, again, we looked at the standings a second ago, battling for those lower spots now in the playoff race. Nipawin's been in 5th for a lot of the season, 5th or 6th, and now they're slowly a little bit lower, 7th now as we sit today, tied for 7th at least. But they have not won a game in their last 5. So what's going on with Nipawin and La Ronge, and by extension La Ronge? But if we want to start with Nipawin,
push is becoming shoved for Nipawin right now.
Yeah.
It's not a great stretch for the Hawks. 2 wins in their past 10 games. You mentioned 5-game losing streak. They're still having some defensive problems, right? They bring in a guy like Liam McInnes, and he really helps out the power play. They got to buckle down defensively. They have not allowed less than 3 goals since December 6th. Every game since then, 12 straight games, it's 3 or more goals against, which is tough recipe to find wins, and it's proven to be so, as they've only won 2 games, 3 shootout losses, and 7 regulation losses in their last 12 games because of their defensive issues right now. 3 goals a game per game for 12 games is it's too much to overcome. You can't score 4 every game, and right now that's what they're having to do. They're still a high potent offense, no doubt about it. Their power play is elite, one of the best in the league, no doubt about that, but yeah, they got to find a way to buckle down here defensively, because that is it's going to be too much of an issue, and push is becoming shove in that playoff race.
Yeah, I thought getting Trey Fouquet from the Brendan Wheat Kings would really, really help their back end. Steady guy. You know what? Ronan Buckberger is such a good young player.
He's young too.
Cannot speak about him high enough. But I wonder if there is a little bit of attrition. We talked about at the beginning of the year. Can he handle the minutes? Can he handle the role? He's had a huge role, a huge minutes load, and he's an 06 birth year. Ohio State should be thrilled to have him. Big fan. But is it grinding down? He's only had 3 points since he came back from the World Junior A Challenge as well, and that was great there, by the way. So was Matthew Van Vleer-Kalm. But it's interesting to see what he'll do at the showcase. I think he'll have a good showcase. But it'll be very interesting to see how the Nipawin Hawks kind of rally here, because all year we've talked about there's lots and lots of offense and goals in this Nipawin team, but when it comes to a gritty, grimy trench game, as the game gets later, teams are better at systems. There's less odd man rush opportunities, power play chances. We think, can the Nipawin Hawks hang? I guess we'll find out. And on the flip side, for the La Ronge Ice Wolves, for me, the biggest thing, really the biggest thing, is Topher Chirko. He has had 4 of his last 5 starts have been high 900% save percentage games. And when he's on, he can stop everything. He's not big, but he stops everything when he's on. I don't think he was on at all to start the year, the first half of the year, but he's really figured something out in 2024. I think the Ice Wolves are playing pretty much the same hockey as they always have. It's just Topher Chirko has been much better. And that's a big piece. They've shipped out the other one, Carl Sonneff. They brought in Eric Kale, obviously, from Estevan to be his more certain backup, as opposed to a 19-year-old and Sonneff kind of behind him. But that's sort of the biggest thing for me. They still have lots of guts and heart, and they're only 5 points out of the playoffs in La Ronge, even with some games in hand for the other teams. But for me, it's the same. Mason Buchert's been wonderful. Parker Layton's been wonderful all year. So no reason to panic in La Ronge, and you should be very happy with the goaltending you've gotten from Topher lately.
Yeah.
You've mentioned his save percentage has been high 9s, right?
Yeah.
But he's still stopping 60 shots a game.
Yeah.
It's crazy. He has
41 saves on Friday night. Yeah,
223 more saves than the second place goaltender in the league. Topher Churko's number one with 1,197 saves. Second is Johan Trombley-Cow with 974.
Busy.
And Churko doesn't lead the league in minutes. James Venn does.
Yeah.
So that's the amount of shots he's getting per game.
Yeah.
And yeah, he has been brilliant.
And he plays in the Mel, and the Mel is conducive to 1,000 shots.
Of course.
But still, the point is still
It's a quick rink, as they say.
Blue shirt day.
Yes, blue shirt day. Thank you, Jeremy. Yes, we got our stylists to get together, and here we are.
I'm slightly darker blue.
Yeah, well, again, I think it's the lighting, but we'll go with it. But yeah, Topher Churko, unbelievable lately. And as you look at the stats, as we do week to week when we decide players of the week, et cetera, he's slowly creeping up the goalie stat list.
Oh, yeah.
Slowly creeping up. And we all talked about Topher Churko, in fairness, at the beginning of the year as a goalie to watch, as a returning guy, and we all had some expectations for him. So we'll see. Last thing here, because we do have to get going to our next segment right away, but Nugsy, back to Thursday. Melfort beat Notre Dame 3-1. Aiden Hutchinson a couple goals, Logan Belton a goal, Van Eager a goal for Notre Dame. You want to get into that and then take it away with Nugs and notes after that?
Sure, yeah, just briefly, as I figure out which camera to look at. Very even game, could have gone either way. The chances were 11-6 or 11-9, pardon me, for Melfort. James Venn just kind of outplayed Johan Trombley-Cow. James Venn was amazing. He was really, really, really good in this game. If he continues this form, I should be happy. Trevor Blevins was talking about how Venn was really, really good in Estevan, as well as the Melfort Mustangs had just played 2 games in Estevan, 2 very tight games in Estevan as well. Just a beautiful goal by Van Egger. And Aiden Hutchinson becomes the 9th guy in the SJ with 20 goals. He's really picked up the slack when Zach Summers and Ryan Duguay haven't been in the lineup. So big time kudos to Aiden Hutchinson, who's got incredible mitts. What hands that kid has. He's so underrated in this league.
Proud member of my fantasy hockey team.
Yeah, that's right.
Which
We'll get into that in a second. So yeah, good 3-1 hard-fought win for Melfort. Could have gone either way. Van Egger had a penalty shot in the third period too, when it was 2-1, and Venn stopped him. So could have gone either way. And as you see, just Chase Freetmore's shot can change games, right? Here's a one-timer off the end boards, and there's Hutchinson with the quick mitts, and Palmerini didn't get to him in time. So Aiden Hutchinson doesn't get the credit he deserves, and so we'll give him the credit right now.
I will.
Aiden Hutchinson.
Aiden Hutchinson. Credit to you, buddy.
Good job, Aiden. All right,
you talked about James Venn just really quick. Very, very strong candidate for goalie of the year.
Yeah.
Not only, like you said, has he played the most games, but second in the league in goals against. He's right up there in save percentage. He's tied for first in shutouts. He's a big part of that Melfort Mustangs team. And we all knew that coming into the season. But Nugs and notes, go for it.
Nugs and notes, yes. And James Venn also at the showcase coming up.
Yes.
There you go. Nugs and notes. RBC is the sponsor.
Ooh.
We all know what RBC is, Royal Bank of Canada. By some metrics, the biggest bank in Canada. You can argue which metrics are more important about banks. I'm sure people do.
I do all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
It's like a
I'm
weekly
sure,
thing for me.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah.
You and Jeremy are just always going at it about which bank is best.
Yeah.
20 million clients, 100,000 employees. Pretty cool. Founded in 1864 as the Merchants Bank of Halifax. And they've been a big partner for the SJ as long as I've been around.
Absolutely.
So thank you very much, RBC. I have my credit card with RBC.
There you
Very
go.
important. Fantasy update. You
up to date on
fantasy.
your payments, Nugsy?
Sorry?
You up to date on your payments, Nugsy? Oh, we're not getting. That's another show. That's another
All right,
show.
let's move on. So Rory's in the lead with 355 points, but only by 6 over me.
Closed up.
Wow, Nugsy, you had a huge comeback.
Coming up, thanks to James Venn, a big part of Team Nostradamus. James Venn, Justin Lees, and Cage Newens have been really big for me. Rory, his big players are Alexi Silvestri, Noah Houle, so some Flin Flon boys, and Logan Linklater, who we hope gets healthy sooner than later.
And you got Ryan Duguay in like the 6th round of that fantasy draft, did you not?
Duguay.
Who has been hurt.
Yeah,
but
Rory's very solid. And then producer McGark, Team McGark is at 340, so he's in third, but not too bad off. You kind of have 4 guys kind of around in the same. Keegan Little, MVB, Aiden Hutchinson, and Braxton Buckberger all kind of in the 45 to 48 range. And then Jeremy Corrigan and 288 points, and he had some picks that were just some bad fortune picks.
It just didn't work out.
So Jason Jacob Vockler, Mason Buchert, and Jackson Allen have all been really steady performers for Team J Corgi. fun. Rory's in the lead by 6, and I'm hoping to catch him. And
That's closer than I thought it was.
I feel
though,
good about it.
Rory had a huge lead, like midway
I had some
so
injury
far.
problems.
Yeah,
Duguay,
right.
Connor Toohey, and now Logan Linklater.
Injury
problems.
problems.
Yeah, man. I
Who
was
are you
getting
to
riddled
talk?
with injuries.
I mean, Bales and Weagle and Cox have like hardly played.
Yeah, we've all
I
faced
feel like,
injuries.
this year. Everybody
It is
has.
what it is.
Yeah.
But
Jeremy's sitting there like right now. He's like, "You're talking about injuries?"
Yeah, talk about it. Certainly,
Sorry,
Duguay is the biggest value
Yeah,
pick probably. I would say so. Good job, Rory.
Thanks, pal.
All right, that was the fantasy that nobody else cares about but us. So here
we talk
go.
about it all the time. Nobody else.
All right, the Yorkton Terriers. I was told I'd talk about this anyway. Financial difficulty for them, might not be able to finish the season. They say. So, make sure you come out to social, check out the Terriers on social media. They're having a big ticket blitz right now. Season tickets for 24-25 for the Terriers for $200, fellas.
Really good.
That's $7.70 a game. That's what they said on the radio. I'm not good at math, as we talked about many times. So get out to the Yorkton Terriers games and support them if you're in the Yorkton area or elsewhere. They need your help. Showcase is starting tomorrow. Very exciting. January the 30th. U20 SJ Gold, that's the Melfort Battleford's team, is going to kick it off at noon tomorrow against Manitoba League Red at noon, followed by the other under-20 team, and then the Young Guns. 4 of 6 SJ wins last year. The Young Guns were dominant last year. I expect more of the same this year. I think it's going to be fun, though. So I hope you all have a lot of fun. And then the last point about Neugs and Notes is the guy that we're going to talk to later. Spoiler alert, Cam Hrdlicka has committed to the University of Concordia at Wisconsin, Division III in Mequon, Wisconsin, right on Lake Michigan, a suburb of Milwaukee. Former La Ronge goalie Liam McGarva, if you guys remember that name.
Yeah.
He's there, among others. So he's got some SJ goaltending camaraderie coming up there. And yeah, long time coming for a long time servant to the SJ.
Absolutely.
So congratulations
Well
to
deserving.
Yes.
Cam Hrdlicka.
And we'll get to him
Another segue.
after
Another
the break.
segue.
What a segue. Yeah, we're going to be riding segues all the commercial break here.
Can they be blue?
They have to be. So yeah, we'll be right back with our guest today, Cam Hrdlicka of the Estevan Bruins. But for now, a word from our sponsors. We'll be back.
It's the 2023 model clearout at Capital GMC. Drum roll, please. 0% financing is back. For a limited time, finance rates are as low as 0% on select new 2023 GMC Sierras. CapitalGMC.ca.
Connecting with customers can be tough, but it doesn't have to be. At Direct West, we have the marketing tools and expertise to help introduce your business to the masses and help it grow. Connect with more customers. Direct West.
As a student, things can pile up fast. Ouch. But the RBC Student Banking Bundle makes back to school easier with up to $275 in value. That's a whole pile of takeout.
Enjoying what's around you. That's what it's all about. Farm to table, in season, locally foraged, look out the window and that's exactly what you'll see on your plate. It's the kind of experience that you'll compare everything else to for years to come. And it's so close, you can almost taste it. Indulge in our unlimited lakes and parkland. Saskatchewan.
Today, online bullying is more common than ever, but there is help. SaskTel wants to solve this problem. It's why they created Be Kind Online. If you're a victim of online bullying or know someone who is, or even if you just want to stop it from happening to anyone, this is a place to learn what you can do. you can find lots of tools and tips to help you stand up to cyberbullying. Be Kind Online is a place to learn how to stay safe as well, to learn best practices and plans to stop cyberbullying before it even has a chance.
Original 16. Celebrate things done well.
Sask Energy Network members are the best choice for natural gas solutions for your home or business. With comprehensive services like heating equipment maintenance, appliance installation, and in-store financing, they have natural gas solutions that go beyond heating to bring you the comfort, efficiency, and reliability of natural gas, both indoors and outdoors, all year long. For whole home natural gas solutions, network members burn brighter.
All right, welcome back to SJHL Weekly. I'm Clark Munroe here at IKS Media. We got Rory McGouran and Jamie Neugebauer in the house. And we got our special guest coming up next here as we head out onto the video chat line with Estevan Bruins goaltender Cam Hrdlicka. Cam, welcome to the show. You were on with us last year. I wasn't here. It was Jeremy, but you were on with us last year, and we're happy to be talking to you again because you have some great news. So first of all, welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me again. Been a little while since last time, but great to be back.
Absolutely. We couldn't wait to have you back, but great timing of it all because of your recent announcement of your commitment to the University of Concordia, Wisconsin. So congrats on that. Well earned. Can you walk us through kind of the process of how that all went down and maybe some of the things you're looking forward to about the next chapter of your hockey career?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a pretty long process. Kind of starts as soon as you get in the league. You're talking to lots of different schools, and just really big thing is just finding what's really the right fit for you, not only hockey wise, but also, I mean, different schools have different programs, different for certain types of education or whatever. But really came down. I think they got an amazing campus, great education there, and the coaching staff is, every time I've talked to them, they're amazing. I think really they showed real interest in me, and I mean, I think I have a lot of trust in them that that program's going to be able to do some big things when I'm there, and because I want to be on a winning team, and I think that's the right coaching staff to do that with. But also the amount of kind of ex-SJHL guys there, I think makes it more comfortable going there, knowing that there's guys that have been in the league, especially with Evan Forrest, playing with him last year, him being there. It's a little bit of familiarity when I go. So I'm excited. Yeah, excited for the next chapter and just kind of start on and go back to school, which will be a little weird after 3 years out, but hopefully it'll go well.
Yeah, that's something that people don't talk about that much, eh? Like once you're a 20-year-old, you go in and you all of a sudden have to go back to school. That's not easy. So kudos for you thinking about that. Did you also go there because you want to go watch Giannis and Kyrie Irving play for the Milwaukee Bucks? Is that any part of it?
Oh, I will say that in the recruiting, they did definitely talk about a lot of guys going to both Bucks and Brewers games. So, and yeah, I'm not as much of a baseball guy, but I do watch a bit of NBA. So I did a little bit of bragging that I might get to go see a few Bucks games. So
yeah, I meant Dame Lillard, by the way. The producer in my ear was like, wow. Yeah, Dame is obviously way bigger than Kyrie these days.
Do more prep news.
I got to do better at my job. I got to be better at my job, Cam. You know that, but you know that better than anybody. What's been working for the Bruins lately, especially at Affinity Place? You guys have been red hot at home, keeping pucks out. What's been the key?
I think really it's all kind of started a real focus on our defensive end. I think that's been the biggest. Like, I don't know, last time in a game where I've actually faced 30 shots in the past, specifically at home in the past little while. Like we block a ton of shots and just kind of real good job lately of keeping them outside of the slots and out of the dirty areas. And like, I mean, we've been a real good team, but we just haven't always showed it. And I think now we're kind of focusing on really the most important aspects right now, which is sometimes we have struggle scoring, so we just need to really keep the puck out of our net is the big deal, and we've been doing that a lot lately with, I think, pretty much all our wins in the past have been we've let on 3 or less goals in, so which we weren't doing as much at the start of the year.
We all know, the season that you guys have had maybe has been up and down, right? Even for your guys' standards of where you want to be. So we've seen your guys' collective size now in the last 6 games. It's like, they're getting there where they want to be. Where do you guys think you are in terms of maybe how the season has gone and where you want to be come playoff time with your play in the last 6 games? Do you feel that, all right, we're close, we're getting there?
Yeah, I definitely think we've showed it a lot. I specifically against Humboldt these past 2 games. It's still the one thing is just the consistency. Like we had those 2 real games against Melfort, and then we struggled against Notre Dame, and they took it to us. And it was, I think all of us we were embarrassed after that effort. And then we showed it again with Humboldt. So it's really just having a consistency that we're able to play every team as good as we know we can. And I think we want to keep climbing up. We're really aiming to, we don't want to be, I think we know we're a playoff team if we're able to play well, but we can't just say that, oh, we're a playoff team because we can lose to any team on any given night. We got to keep showing it. And I think we want to try, we're fighting for at least that 5th spot. And if we can go even higher, that's what we think. We think we have the talent to be able to do that. So.
Cam, is it fun being in that fight, right? Because I know it's not fun losing and having an up and down season, but it puts you right now in a spot where, hey, we're in playoff hockey right now. How fun is that?
Yeah, it is true. It is real fun. Definitely adds a bit of nerves to every game, which I mean I think is a good thing. You go into every game knowing like this is almost a must win. Like we lose this could be the game that kicks us out of playoffs. So it's being able to go into every game knowing that we got something to fight for. And Tarts talked to us before the Humboldt games and was like, we've been done a lot of favors since Christmas break. A lot of teams have lost that have helped us stay in the position we are. So like we're done having other teams do us favors. We want to put our destiny in our own hands. So it's definitely, I think if we can keep it up, it'll be a real fun end of the season, and being able to push and keep clawing at the spots above us all the way until the end. We're definitely going to do that.
So Cam, we all know that goalies are weird.
Speak for yourself.
Well, I'm replacing the host of the show. Jeremy Corrigan is also a goalie. I think he would agree as well. But between you and your goalie tandem partner, Jackson Miller, who, by the way, shout out to the Miller family. I've known them since 2014. Millsy, great guy. Jackson, I've known him since he was, a lot shorter than he currently is. But between the two of you, who's weirder and why?
Oh.
Yeah, see, this is a tough question. He has to think about it.
That is a tough question. Out of respect for him, I'll go myself.
Okay.
I'd say we're pretty. Actually, our teammates probably wouldn't agree with me saying this, but I was going to say we're a pretty normal goaltending duo. But I've heard Zach
every
Burns
goalie
on
thinks they're
countless
normal. That's the thing.
Yeah. I've heard Zach Burns on countless occasions tell us we're the weirdest group he's had. So, but yeah, no. I don't know. I guess a taste of music maybe of mine can be a little odd at some points. I'll listen to some weird stuff, but I think a little not too bad. I don't think.
Okay, yeah. Fair enough. That's a good answer. Diplomatic.
The one time I think about you, Cam, being interesting is like when O Canada's playing. Whether you're on the bench or whether you're on the ice, you're always like. I'm trying to do a Cam Hrdlicka impression, but I'm not good at it. But what's going on with that? Is it some sort of visualization, the routine? But I mean, he's like laser focused about it. What's going on there?
Yeah, no, yeah, it's visualization. I'll actually, that part of being weird, it's probably, you'd think I'd be weirder if you watch me like before I get on the ice. A lot of me just kind of staring and like moving my eyes around and just visualizing the puck coming in, going out. So it's something I do off the ice too. So then I just thought there's a solid like minute in O Canada where I guess I could get a little bit more doing it.
Yeah. Hey Cam, over the course of your career in the SJHL, we've had you on the show last year, right? We always talk about he's one of the best goaltenders in the league, and we're so happy for him because I'm sure that he has had naysayers his whole career based off his size. You are not the biggest goaltender, right? You're maybe the most athletic. Absolutely. You can't take that away from you. But now that you get this commitment, right? NCAA Division III, congratulations, by the way. What's it mean to you? Just because I'm sure you've had those naysayers that say he's too small, and yet you continue to prove him wrong.
I mean, yeah, it's awesome. It's definitely, I mean, obviously, it's like a weight lift off your shoulders, kind of not having to worry about what's going next. And I mean, Concordia, it's a great spot, so I'm real excited. And yeah, being undersized for a while, I even had a hard time even just making this team, made it out of training camp. So the fact that I've kind of been able to stay here for 3 years and play as many games as I had, and even let alone win a championship my first year, it's pretty great to finish that off and know that I have a school where I'm going to be able to play for the next 4 years. We'll get a degree. It's pretty amazing. So I'm definitely thankful for all the time I've had here and the shot that Tarts gave me, and now just keep rolling with it.
Yeah, last one from me. That game in Wilcox, I know Sasha Chmielewski, or Ilya Chmielewski, his brother, was kind of chirping me a little bit for my dancing before the game, because I was in the press box moving around a little bit there. But whatever, Chimmer, you're dancing there too. I saw you. Obviously, Chmielewski and Keegan Little off to the showcase right now. You were terrific at the showcase last year. Had a shutout. You kind of come in last minute, if you guys remember that. Came in last minute and then shut it out, and it was terrific. Did you give them any advice to just kind of calm their nerves and how to show out like you did at the showcase last year?
I mean, obviously, they had like questions just kind of to me about what really to expect there and just like how many people. But I mean, those guys there's a reason they're all there, and I don't think they really need me to tell them how to perform. I know that all of them are go out and show why they're there, what they bring to the team. They're all amazing players. I guess left out Allard there as well. They all deserve that, and I know they're definitely going to perform. So I mean, I'll talk to them about kind of just like what to expect. The scouts there, talking to people after, but yeah, not too much on me about calming their nerves and just how to play, because I know they're definitely going to do that.
Cam, you might be the first, repeat edition here of Rory's Rapid Fire, and if we got Cam Hrdlicka back. Two of the questions, though, I might actually take a little bit of a longer answer from you, just because I want to know a little bit more about you. One of them, we'll start on Saturday. You're playing the Humboldt Broncos. In a moment of that game, you lose your glove. It actually goes behind the net. The play continues for people that didn't watch the game. And the puck goes to the top of the zone where the Broncos have it. I noticed that you're holding the glove hand behind your back because you don't want to hurt yourself. Of course, the shot comes. It goes to your glove side, and you don't risk anything. That hand comes out, and you make the save with your bare hand. How much did that hurt?
Yeah, by the way, that should have been highlight of the week. I saw
awesome.
that.
That's awesome.
I'll say, like, you even see in the video, like, I stop it and then I start turning to push, and it takes a couple seconds for me to really realize that I just took it off the hand. I think it definitely hurt a little bit, but I mean, I'd rather take a puck off the hand than come back to my team and having let them down, letting in a goal there, especially because they scored a minute after, which would have tied the game if we didn't stop that one. I know my parents aren't happy that I did it, but it was
It's like that scene from Mighty Ducks 2 where the Iceland goalie makes the save on Fulton Reed and his hand is all red. Yeah,
That's right.
I just watched that.
Was it just pure instinct? Like, did you know, oh man, he's going to shoot it here? Or was it just that hand came out because you do it 1,000 times?
No, I could tell he was going to go glove side there. So I was, for as long as possible, I was trying to keep my hand. But as soon as I tried getting my pad up to see if I could get it higher, but I knew it was going over. So I was like, that. I guess I'm doing this, and yeah, it hit me. I was lucky it hit me pretty far at the bottom of my hand and kind of hit the meaty area, so it's not too bad. It hurts a little bit, decently swollen, but nothing that I won't be able to keep playing with. So
that's what we want to hear. You mentioned your music taste. It's maybe a little outside the box. If you guys have a little jamboree, a little music party, who gets to control the music? And maybe you already answered the follow-up. Who doesn't? Is it you?
Oh yeah, I'm never on Ox. Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't do too bad of a job, but no, I think on Ox usually Blake Heward or Brady Wilson's on there. Probably the most amount of time they got That's probably the more accepted people there.
Can you tell me the story of the skull cap? Of course, you wear one under your helmet, and this might go back to when you had longer hair, right? But obviously, you still wear it. So when did it begin?
Yeah.
What's with the story of the skull cap? And how many do you have? Is it one, or do you actually have multiple?
I used to have a couple. Now I only have the one, but I'll wash it with all my other gear. So it's not just I wear the one the whole time, and it's just absolutely disgusting. But yeah, it started when I was younger. I used to have hair probably longer than I did when I first got in the league here, and now kind of just keep wearing it. And now even now that my hair's shorter, I don't really need it. It feels weird not having it, so I kind of just keep it on. I know it looks a little silly every time I take off my helmet, but
I like it.
Well, as long as they're making saves, Cam, I don't think anyone's going to care that bad.
Yeah.
I'm going to add one to the rapid fire. You done? You good?
Yeah, good.
You're going to Wisconsin. How many cheeses can you name?
Oh wow.
Go nuts.
It's a good
I know cheddar.
Yep. That's a good one.
Provolone.
Oh, nice. Deep.
Mozzarella.
That's that's good.
Havarti.
Yeah.
That's another one. Gruyere, I think.
Oh, that's not a common one. Gruyere.
got a handful.
Very well done. We'll leave it there, but that's a pretty good start. I mean, you're going to learn a lot about it, I'm sure, while you're there.
Yeah. I'm a big brie guy. I love brie.
Ooh, brie. Yeah, that's a good one. Gouda.
I was
a little smoked Gouda.
I think probably would have embarrassed myself if you let me go any longer.
I had a feeling. I cut you off. I think that was good. 5 is good. Cheese curds is also going to be a big part of your life coming up in Wisconsin. They love them down there. But anyways, Cam, I think we're good. Yeah, thanks for joining us so much today, Cam. Again, congrats on the commitment, on the recent stretch of hockey, and best of luck the rest of the season.
Yeah, thank you guys very much for having me again. It was great.
Absolutely. Well, there it is. Cam Hrdlicka of the Estevan Bruins. When we come back from the break, we are going to get into the players of the week, including some of Cam's teammates, by the way. And we're going to take a look at the SJHL MJHL Showcase. We're going to preview it a little bit. We're going to play some buy it or sell it, and a whole lot more. So come back after these messages.
The Chevrolet Silverado 1500. Advanced power and capability to tackle the long hauls. Style to make a statement on the streets. Visit ChevroletOffers.ca to learn more.
Increase your home comfort with high-efficiency natural gas equipment. Sask Energy offers rebates so you can lower your energy use and save money. For a list of rebates, contact a participating network member or visit saskenergy.com.
When you buy a lottery ticket in Saskatchewan, your money really goes a long way. More than 12,000 sport, culture, and recreation groups receive funding from Sask Lotteries every year. Everyone wins.
Thanks for helping me out and trying to protect me today. It's the kind of thing that, somebody comes out who's not ready, not prepared, and put into an awkward situation without somebody taking leadership and saying, hey, I'm going to protect you. It's going to shorten people's careers. And that's a big reason why we exist and, what drives us to do what we do.
They know how important their role is in the community, being a good leader, showing kids that there is a right and a wrong way to do things and leading the right way, being a positive role model to not just kids in the community, but anybody in the community.
Coach said a lot of great things that are really consistent with the values that we have at the SCSA and, respect for those around us, respect for those that we work side by side with, leadership, and part of that is being innovative and collaborative and solving problems together. Really, the last one that you touched on was integrity, doing what's right and doing it the right way. And those things just yield incredible results, not just in terms of making things safe, but really being productive and striving, whether it be in a game or in your life or in your business.
I think absolutely we try and fill the roles of all those values and just try to be the best people we can, really, not only for ourselves, but for our teammates and for the community around us.
Have a lot of fun today. Thanks, guys.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Original 16. Celebrate things done well.
Saskatchewan's far north is where the land itself inspires. It's the beauty and power of wilderness, the solitude of a place far removed from what you might know. When this landscape surrounds you, it's like nothing else. Come and let it awaken you, energize you. Come and create your story in our Northern Lights and Waterways. Saskatchewan.
All right, welcome back to the third and final segment of SJHL Weekly here on January 29th. We are having a great time today. Thanks again to Cam Hrdlicka for joining us today. Unbelievable chat with him. Great interview. We're going to get into the Players of the Week now. We're going to we announce this each and every week, of course, here on the show, and some big performances here with a smaller sample size of games for the most part, but still some great performances. Let's kick it off, guys, with the MVP of the week for SGEU, Keegan Little. 3 games played, he had 7 points. He's been on a tear lately. He has crept his way up into the, I think, top 10 of league scoring, or if not top 15, after, I'm going to call it a quote-unquote slow start for him, but he's now climbed way up there in the league scoring. Rory, let's start with you, because you saw him. Keegan Little, what can you say about his week?
It's great. He's an engine out there, and I know that he's crept into the top 15 of scoring, which you're happy about, being on your fantasy team trying to make a push. But Cam said it, they're trying to find a way to get more offense. That was the one thing they thought that they needed. So Keegan Little, 7 points in 3 games. I love your captain being your engine. He certainly is, and he had a great week.
Anything to add?
Yeah, him and Chmielewski and Burfoot, one of the best lines in the SJHL right now.
Yeah. They've been huge. And every time you look at a box score, it seems like an Estevan. It's Little, Chmielewski, Burfoot, Allard.
It's a good line.
They're doing, and Papaspropoulos now. Again, just wanted to say his name again. Never hurts. Well, let's move on to the forward, the Borgo forward of the week. And this week, it's still Ben Portner. I mean, Nugsy, what do you say? 5 goals. What do you say?
7-game point streak with 7,000 points over those 7 games. Ben, you got to figure things out, man. You only scored 1 goal in that game at Battleford Arena there. What's wrong, man? He's 2 goals in 6 straight games each game. That is crazy. Interesting Ben Portner story. I was talking to Braden Klamosko about him, and he sent Braden Klamosko an email in the offseason saying, hey, coach, I'm an NCDC player. I think I could be an impact player in the league, yada, yada, yada. And Braden said, I didn't even reply to the email, I'll be honest with you. So then he gets in touch with Wiley Riendell, the scouting guru, and they give him a shot. And just like kind of Travis Bryson, we were talking about Travis Bryson in Humboldt, went there, you guys didn't know anything about him, comes there, he's awesome and makes the team and is doing great. Now he's a showcase guy too. But they didn't know Ben Portner either. Nope. And he shows up, and what a year. He's having one of the best lines, if not the best line in the league. And what a great story. Just you know what, believe in yourself, bet on yourself.
I was going to say.
Go out there, don't worry about hype and all those things. Just come in and work hard and do your thing. And Ben has been awesome.
Yeah.
So kudos
Moral of the story, bet on yourself.
And kudos to Klamosko for being honest and saying, I ghosted the kid. I'll be honest.
That's the best stories. Let's move on now to the Saskatchewan Player of the Week and making his individual award debut. Blake Heward of the Estevan Bruins. Rory, again, you saw him. 4 points in 3 games.
Yeah, this was without Felix Allard in the lineup, too, and he picked up a lot of the slack. We know he's an offensive guy, as we see this week, too, with another 4 points in 3 games, but it was his defensive side of the puck that's been really impressive. As we mentioned, 9 goals against in their last 6 home games for the Estevan Bruins. This is a team when Heward, Allard, they're healthy, they're playing good structurally, defense, finding some offense that no one wants to play in the first round now. once Cam, as he said, we're getting there to where we want to be, needed on a more consistent basis. This guy's found a more consistent basis of his style, and he's an elite D-man.
Yeah, big part of the Bruins blue line for sure. Sticking with the blue line, let's look at the Super U defenseman of the week, and that is Colby Ball, who put up 3 goals in 3 games this week for the Melville Millionaires. Nugsy.
Yeah, offensively on the blue line especially, he is the straw that stirs the Melville drink. I talked about how many pucks they put towards Dazza Mitchell's net in that game against Weyburn. Yeah, he's an elite offensive defenseman in this league. Consistency has maybe been an issue, but other than that, he's been terrific. 20-year-old with a lot of skill. He's been around Melville for a long time too. Good to see him have a good year.
Yeah, absolutely. Sticking with the Melville Millionaires, the white and blue, the rookie of the week for Direct West is Luke Beidel this week. Another big week for him, 5 points. Having a great season numbers-wise. Rory.
That's maybe why we all wear blue. We give a shout-out to the Melville Millionaires. We also give a shout-out to our Cam Hrdlicka committed with Concordia, Wisconsin there. Their primary color is very similar to this blue.
It wasn't
all made
accidental.
sense. It all made sense. But Luke Beidel, pardon me.
Yeah, Beidel.
Yeah, leads his team in goals, second on his team in points, doing it as a rookie.
Yeah.
He's a special talent. And you said straw that stirs the drink defensively, Colby Ball. This guy seems to be all over the ice offensively. He's really good.
And how did he not get to the showcase?
He's one of the biggest omissions, 100%.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
We're calling you guys out who made the rosters. No,
Crazy.
we're not doing that. But great week again by Luke Beidel.
10 penalty minutes, too. Doesn't take penalty minutes.
The Lady Bing, potential Lady Bing of the SJHL award winner. Moving on to the SaskTel goaltender of the week, and we talked about him. A heavy workload again for Topher Chirico, 41 saves.
Yeah.
Where are we at? Nugsy, you got this one?
At home against Nipawin in a Sherwood division rivalry, of course, always big when you're in division. Topher's been awesome in the new year, especially in 2024. He's been a hard guy to beat, and big piece of why there's still hope in La Ronge.
There's still hope, absolutely. Let's have a look. Now, we're going to dive in. The SJHL MJHL Showcase begins tomorrow. Let's have a look at the schedule, if we can throw that up on the screen. We have 6 games over the course of 2 days, and of course, you guys mentioned it earlier, the 20s kick it off at 12 p.m. That is Central Time, of course, because it is in Manitoba. So 12 p.m., 3 p.m., 6 p.m. The 18Us get the prime time game. This is all going to be on Flow Hockey, so you can check it out there if you have your subscription. If not, it's a great time to get your Flow Hockey subscription, so you can check out these games. They're so much fun to watch. Go ahead,
keep that up for a second. I just want to point out SJ Gold is Braden Klamosko, Trevor Blevin's coach team with a lot of Melfort and Battleford's kids and others. And SJ White is Mike Reagan and Doug Johnson and a lot of Flin Flon and Humboldt kids and Colweren, Yorkton kids, etc. So just so that we're clear which teams those are. And obviously Blue is the Young Guns team with Scott Barney and Tad Kozin. Coaching those.
Right. And of course, if you are confused as to who is on which team, visit sjhl.ca. All the rosters are on there. And I'm sure that there'll be plenty of updates from our man on the ground, Jeremy Corrigan, throughout the next couple of days. So keep your eyes on all of our social media platforms for that. But guys, on the showcase, I'm going to throw it to you guys. Over the 6 games each team gets to, I'm going to throw it very simply. What are you looking forward to most in these batch of games? Rory?
I mean, I kind of hinted at it before. It's the players who don't have any commitments yet, but they are being talked about. You know, teams are sniffing around. Play your best. Like put on a show. This is not an all-star competition. Go out there, compete it like it's a playoff game. Show them what you can do and lock up that commitment because they're all so deserving. Of course, I want to see the SJ have as best result as they possibly can, but individually, I just like to see the guys who deserve it the most go out and play their best, and that's all I can wish for.
Yeah, kind of a similar, like, guys, like, obviously there's great talent around the whole league, but we get to see, you know, like a Vinny Palmerine get to play with, like, a Ronan Buckberger. I think that's really exciting, right? And, like, you see guys get to play with some real elite talents. I'm sure there's always insta chemistry when you have good players and good hockey IQs playing together, so I'm excited to see that interconnectivity right away. And I'm very interested to see the MJ guys as well. Obviously, a couple of kids on Winkler are having terrific years. Trent Penner, you know, and Dalton Andrew are both leading the Manitoba League in scoring. Guys who used to be in the SJ, see what they look like. Casey Coyle is back, the former Humboldt Bronco. La Ronge guy, you know, you think about A couple other guys
Kirk
too
Mullen
around
there,
that are
yes.
familiar. Kirk Mullen and
Yep.
Sebastian Hamming, former Weyburn Red Wing Regina kid. So interesting to see how they look too. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. Anything else? You guys
Good. Buy it or sell it.
Buy it or sell it time,
Yeah.
guys. We got a few showcase-specific buy it or sell it's, and then we're going to get into some but league-wide specific, not specific, I should say. But okay, first off, buy it or sell it. There will be 15 different goal scorers from the SJHL over the course of these 6 games. Of course, that there is 2 games for each team. 15 individual goal scorers. Yeah. Buy it or sell it.
Who are you going to first?
Start at the end.
All right, I'm going to buy it. Last year there were 18 different SJ goal scorers.
There's
so
the numbers.
Plenty of weapons.
Yeah,
I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
It's a good line, though, right? Because, I mean, if you get a couple close 2-1 games, now you need 5 different goal scorers from each team over the course of 2 games. Then you'll get 15.
Yeah.
So I'll buy it. But, I mean, I do like the line makers, odds makers out there. Made a good one.
Whoever made the line.
Yeah.
Great job.
It's a good one. But I'll buy this one. I think 18 is probably where it should be.
I think goals are flying in. Perfect. Personally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the 18 and under team last year contributed to 14 of the goals scored. The under 20 teams were much more low goal scoring.
Yeah.
So that will have to change if you want. I guess not. Yeah. The 18 and you had about like 10 out of the 18 different goal scorers too. So
yeah. The SJHL will go 4-2 over the 6 games or better. Nugsy, 4-2 or better.
Yeah, I'm buying it. Look, I don't want to be too brash. I personally just think the young guns for the SJ are better than the young guns on the MJ.
Bulletin board material coming from Jamie Neugebauer.
So then that means if they win 2 games, then the under 20s need to go 500. So I'm buying.
Yeah, I'm gonna easily buy this one too. 4-2, I think, is the bar that was set last year. I wouldn't be surprised if they're 5-1.
For sure. I'm going to buy it as well just because we're all wearing the same shirt. So I have to keep
We did
it
wear
going.
blue today.
Yeah.
Not black or red. So
yes, exactly.
we probably should buy this one.
I'll also buy the first topic, 15 scores. I agree. I'm going to go with that as well. This was my topic. I'm going to say 2 or more shutouts, but more than 1 shutout in this tournament. Now, we didn't classify by the SJHL necessarily, I guess, but let's go ahead and do that by the SJHL teams.
By the SJHL.
More than one shutout.
Well, last year there was 2.
Yeah,
the Saskatchewan White team had a shutout, and
Cam
Hrdlicka.
yes, it was, and the Manitoba U20 team had a shutout. I'm going to sell it, though.
Okay.
I'm going to sell it hard. I'm selling it if it's just Saskatchewan. I'm selling it if it's both
Either
teams
way?
combined. Yeah.
Okay.
I think maybe 1, but probably not any.
Yeah, I'm with you. Goals are going to fly in. I believe that goals in this whole thing are going to be flying in.
A lot of good players.
It's not an all-star thing where it's like a lot of floating around in 3-on-1s and stuff. It's not what it is. They're going to be tight and hard-nosed, but there's going to be goals.
Now, the next buy it or sell it is that the top scorer of this tournament will be one of the top 5 scorers from the SJHL currently. Now, I don't have that list open right now, but I can get it in like 2 seconds
Kian
here.
Bell, Justin Lees, Spencer Bell,
Ben Portner, or Alexei Silvestri.
Alexei Silvestri.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
Go ahead,
will it be one of those 5 guys that lead the tournament in scoring or the field?
I'm going to play the field right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you always expect someone else to step in, and you look at the Young Guns team, right? Like, could it be a Cohen Senft who ends up with 5 points, right? A Matthew Van Blaerkom, even from the back end, Ronan Buckberger. Those 5 guys are special talents, but the odds are with you to sell it and take the field.
Yeah, I also am going to sell it. I'm going to take the field. Usually the older teams do really spread it around as well. So yeah, I think you're right on the money, Rory, talking about one of those SJ Young Guns guys. So none of them are in the top 5 in SJ leads in scoring. So I'm also selling.
Speaking of the Young Guns, Ronan Buckberger, as an individual player, will be the top scoring defenseman in the tournament. Buy it or sell it. I'll start with you, Nugsy.
Yeah, I'm going to buy it. He's only had 3 points in the World Junior A's, as I said, but my understanding is he's going to be playing with Vinny Palmerine, and I think that's a money deep pairing. I mean, they just are made for each other. Ronan setting Vinny up for his shot, or Vinny staying home and Ronan going nuts. I'm going to buy it. I think Ronan's ready to break out after a bit of a slow time since back from the World Junior A's. The Nipawin Hawks defenseman's electric. I'm excited to watch, and I'm going to buy it.
I'm going to sell it again. I think the field's too large to take it. I do like the tantalizing upside of Ronan Buckberger back with his Team Canada West head coach Scott Barney, right, and the fact that he'll probably play a lot of power play. But I do like a veteran defenseman right now, Chase Frietmore, Leith Olofsson, Noah Houle. Those guys, I'll take them right now as a sell.
Yeah.
And again, with the field of the many other defensemen that are available.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you, or I'm going to sell as well. Now, going outside of the tournament, but also kind of from the results of the tournament, will there be, within 1 month of the showcase, so we're talking about 1 month basically from today, 4.5. So it's more of an over-under than a buy or sell it, but 4.5. So you're thinking 5 or more or 4 or less commitments coming from this tournament.
Go ahead.
Like guys who are on the team.
Guys who are on the teams who are uncommitted currently, who then get commitments basically from this.
Yeah, it's a good line. It's a good line. I'm going to buy it. I think there's plenty of veterans, especially who are going, who are still hoping for D1s and U Sports and also D3 options. I think there's plenty enough to say over, so I'm going to buy it.
Yeah, I'm going to buy it as well.
Yeah,
buy it as well. I think the tough part with me is that a lot of the players who are going to be getting commitments and playing U Sports, those commitments tend to come later. After the season.
That's true.
So it'll take away from an easy buy where the line would be like, 8 or 10. So really the ones that happen earlier are the NCAA driven ones. I still think 5 is a great number. I think that's very possible. If you said like players in this showcase who will have commitments at the end of the year, then it'd be like 25.
Could be a lot more.
Maybe way more, So, but right now, 5's good.
There are 10 guys with major junior experience coming from the SJ, so they've got some U Sports options sitting on the table already. They can just take any time they want.
Comes later.
Comes later.
There's a few for sure that will be getting those. If you guys can bring up the standings for me as I do this last one here. This one is league related. 3 Viterra teams will make the playoffs. 3. As of right now, there are 2. There has been 3 in the past in terms of the battle of that last little bit in the bottom half of the standings there. So buy it or sell it that 3 will make the playoffs.
Nugsy?
I am going.
Remember, Weyburn does have 2 games in hand here, and they're only a point down to those
and
final
Yorkton
2
has
teams.
a game in hand too.
Yorkton does as well.
I'm gonna buy it. I think Melville, Estevan, and Weyburn make it in still. I think they've put together a good enough body of work. It'll be tight, but I think I'm gonna buy it. Just on a gut.
Yeah, I'll sell it for right now. I don't know.
It's tight. I mean, and again, it's not just a question of who makes it in, but who do they knock out is the other question. And Nipawin and Kindersley have put up some really solid seasons so far. So it's not just a matter of them getting in.
I'm worried about Kindersley's health and what's going on. And they always shove it down my throat whenever I have something not bad.
Well, you're the king of bulletin board material today, Nugsy. So just keep it going.
People think I'm a nice guy, maybe. I don't know. I think people
you
do.
You could say you're worried about Kindersley.
But I'm just worried. I'm not saying they're going to fall out or that the season's over or whatever. I'm just worried. That's all.
Okay.
But I mean, they've got lots of character, lots of heart. Clayton's doing a great job. So lots of positives to say.
There's only 2 teams in this league I would rob a bank with, and that's the Flin Flon Bombers and the Battlefords North Stars. I wouldn't trust anyone else to be my getaway driver right now. And I'm just going off recency. Weyburn has 3 wins in the month of January. Nipawin might fall out. Melville, as you mentioned, their stats, I don't know them, but but they're playing good. Humboldt's in a slump. Estevan's doing good. I'd rob a bank with Flin Flon and Battlefords. Other than that, I have no idea what's going to happen.
That's a good expression. I should also say that over-under question was given by a friend of the show. So there you go. I'm not going to say who it was, but it was a friend of the show. So thank you for bringing that. He said to me, "You guys haven't done buy it or sell it in a while. You guys should do that." And here's a question.
It's a good one.
I said, "It's funny you should say that because we're doing buy it or sell it, and that's a good question, and I'm going to take it." And so here's your shout out.
Thank you,
you know
mystery
who you
friend.
Are. Yeah.
Thank you, mystery friend. That is buy it or sell it. Again, most of it was about the showcase. So if we can just put the schedule for the showcase up one more time, you can catch all of the action on Flow Hockey, and make sure you follow along on all of our social media platforms for coverage throughout the next few days here. Practices start today and games start tomorrow. You can see the times there on the screen. That's pretty much it for the show here, guys. Let's just look ahead quickly. We already talked about a couple of tantalizing return matchups after the showcase. Nugsy, I'll start with you at the end there. what are you looking forward to when the teams return to action later this week?
Yeah, I'm interested. I shouted it out during the thing. Weyburn and Kindersley at the West Central, two teams to shove my words down my throat, I guess, because those are two gritty teams with coaches that I love. So yeah, that'll be playoff hockey at the WC Event Center, and I can't wait.
Watch the Meeks pick up 3 points, and you'll be like, well, you didn't help me at all.
Didn't have. No. Yeah.
There's 3 of them, for me. Weyburn, Kindersley, Humboldt, Melville, who are in 4 and 5 right now, and the first out of 5 meetings in February of Estevan and Yorkton. Huge games across the landscape.
Massive.
But again, let's not take the focus away from the showcase. Those 60 players are well-deserving.
Yes.
But when we come back, that is
exciting. A lot to look forward to this week. It's a big week. It's a big week. We're all excited. So make sure, again, let's throw the social medias up on the screen that you are following us every single place, because there will be content on all of those platforms, including our YouTube channel, which half of you are probably watching this show on currently. So you're already one step ahead of everybody. But if you haven't, hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel, folks. It's easy. It's free. And you get a load of content from it. So do that. But X, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok as well, and sjhl.ca. And one more quick shout out to our sponsors as well. Again, UPL behind me here. Big shout out to them. Big sponsors for us in terms of getting this programming out on the air each and every week, as well as Borgo, Cantera Seeds, Capital Auto Mall, Chevrolet, Great Western, Nutrien, RBC, Saskatchewan Construction Safety Association, Sask Lotteries, Tourism Saskatchewan, UPL, again, thank you, Sask Energy, SGEU, and SGI. That'll do it for everybody here at the IKS Media Studios. Thanks to everybody in the back room. Shout out to them. Always doing a great job each and every week. For myself, Clark Munroe, it's Rory McGouran, Jamie Neugebauer, Jeremy, a lot of J's. Jeremy Corrigan's out on the road with Kyle McIntyre and Jacob Faith. They're going to be attending the showcase in Winnipeg. So again, stay tuned for all of their coverage. I'm sure that Kyle McIntyre is going to be posting selfies all week. So make sure you follow him everywhere. And that'll do it for us here on SJHL Weekly. We'll see you on Thursday for SJHL Insider and back here on Monday. Bye for now.